If you click on this video, I already know where you are at. You are likely unprofitable and you are blaming your strategy. You are hunting for a new indicator, a new mentor, or a new secret confluence because it's easier to blame the tools than it is to admit the problem is you. I can say that because not too long ago, I was exactly where you are right now. And it wasn't just frustrating, it was soul crushing. I remember having less than $1,000 to my name, having the nights of crying myself to sleep, feeling the weight of the world, wondering if I was just delusional for thinking a kid like me from a that world country with so many restrictions could ever actually make it. I hit rock bottom. I felt the depression and I felt the sting of universe humbling me every time I let my ego take the wheel and rub on my loss sizes. But I didn't quit. I realized that freedom isn't just about the money. Once I stopped chasing the perfect trade and started facing my psychology, everything changed. That shift is exactly what took me from a negative bank balance to making $100,000 with multiple profits. In this video, I'm not giving you a strategy. I'm giving you a full-scale mindset reconstruction. I'm going to show you how to take the tools you already have and actually make them work. So you can stop being a slave to your emotions and start living the life you were meant for in 2026. The first thing you have to realize is that your emotions are random. They aren't just glitches in your trading plan. They're predictable biological responses to a single goal: avoiding pain. Every time you feel your heart race, every time you hesitate to click buy or sell, every time you revenge trade, that's just your brain trying to protect you from discomfort. But in the markets, that protection is exactly what keeps you broke. I want to simplify this for you. Right now, your emotions feels like this scary, hairy monster that you can't control. But if we think in first principles, if we strip everything down to the most basic fundamental definitions, that monster disappears. When you understand the why behind the feeling, you can build a system to master it. This is how I stopped being a victim to myself and started actually managing my capital. The second thing is a hard truth. Emotions are neither good nor bad. They just are. Our society tells us being emotional is a weakness, but to live a full life, you have to experience the entire spectrum. You're going to feel sadness, regret, FOMO, and greed. It's all part of the human hardware. Take greed for example. Everyone says greed is evil, right? But if you look at through first principles, greed is just a drive for more. It's what fueled human evolution. It's what pushed me to the next level of trading and to find a better life. Once you stop labeling these feelings as bad and start seeing them as data, you stop fighting yourself. And when you stop fighting yourself, you can finally start winning in the market. Think about it. What drives the man to wake up every day and walk a grueling 9 to 5 is greed, right? The desire for more, for security, for the ability to provide for his family and his generation. And what about fear? We are taught to think that fear is a weakness, right? But fear is the only reason your ancestors survived long enough for you to be born. It's the fight or flight instinct. When you see a lion, you don't make a reason with it. You run, right? Your brain triggers the fear to keep you from getting killed. It's a survival mechanism designed to pull you away from the dangerous situation. So when you're staring at a losing trade, you feel that pit in your stomach. That's just your biological head warring to protect you from the lion of losing man. The emotions themselves and the problem, they are just tools for your survival. Which brings me to my third and most important point. You cannot get rid of your emotions. I know. Every trading guru on YouTube tells you to become a robot. They tell you to turn off your brain and trade without feeling. But unless you're planning on getting a lobotomy, that's a lie. As long as you're a human being, you will feel the sting of a loss and the rush of a win. The secret isn't deleting the emotions. The secret is decoupling your emotion from your actions. It's about feeling the fear, acknowledging the greed, and still having the discipline to follow your plan anyway. That is the difference between a gambler and a professional. Now let's talk about the why. Every single person who enters this market, that's for the exact same reason: to make money. Let's be honest. That's why you're here. That's why I started when I had nothing in my bank account. And that's okay to start there, but it is a deadly place to stay. If you're sitting at your desk actively trying to make money, you have already lost. I know that sounds backward, but trading has a direct one-to-one correlation with your bank account. If you click buy and the price goes up, you make money. If it goes down, you lose. But if your brain is focused on a dollar amount while the trade is open, you aren't trading the markets anymore. You are trading your bills, your rent, and your ego. To understand this mindset shift, we have to look at trading differently. Think about a brain surgeon. If a brain surgeon is mid-operation and all they're thinking about is the 50K paycheck after the surgery, they're going to be distracted, right? They're going to be nervous and they're going to make a mistake that kills the patient. A professional surgeon doesn't focus on the money. They focus on the process, they focus on the procedure. If they execute the process perfectly, the patient lives and the money follows as a side effect of their skill. Trading is the exact same. When I made that $100,000 with different prop firms, it wasn't because I was staring at my P&L dreaming of what I would buy. It was because I finally stopped trading for the money and started trading for the execution. I became a slave to my process, not a slave to the dollar sign. You have to detach your self-worth from your net worth if you want to survive in this game. Now I'm going to tell you something that sounds like a lie. In this month, I hit 100% win rate. If you asked me a month ago, I would have said that's impossible. My win rate usually hovered around 30% and 50%. But at the start of this month, I made a radical commitment. I told myself I'm going to be so disciplined, so logical, and so detached that come hell or high water, I will not deviate from my plan. I set a rule. If it's not an A+ setup, it doesn't exist. I stopped taking the maybe trades. I stopped settling for B and C grade setups. I decided that if I couldn't follow my plan exactly, I wouldn't trade at all. The money that 100K plus payout with prop firms was just a byproduct of sticking to that process. So how do you get that kind of confidence? It doesn't come from vibes. Confidence comes from competence, and competence comes from data. Humans act in accordance with their beliefs. If you don't truly believe your strategy works, you will hesitate. The only way to build bulletproof conviction is to gather an undeniable amount of evidence. I've spent nearly 7 years in the game. I've put in over 10,000 hours and maybe taken well over 10,000 trades. I've gathered so much data that it became mathematically impossible for me to fail. If you want to speed up your trading journey to profitability, you need a tight feedback loop. Here is my simple advice. Try to take over 100 trades. I don't care if it's backtesting, demo, or forward testing, just get the data. Once you have those 100 trades, I want you to perform 1090 audit. Analyze the top 10%. Look at your best winners. What do they have in common? When I did this, I found a pattern. I win most on Tuesdays and Wednesdays during the pre-London and London session using my break it trader strategy. That's my strike zone. Now I just wait for those specific variables to align and execute without reservation, and then analyze the bottom 90%. Look at your losses. You'll find the same destructive patterns repeating. Revenge trading, closing too early to avoid pain, or trading out of a desperate need for money. By looking at the bottom 90%, you gain awareness. You shine a light on the subconscious forces that are pulling you away from the bank. At the end of the day, trading is the ultimate mirror. It doesn't care about your strategy. It definitely doesn't care about your excuses. I want you to remember where I started. I was a kid from a third world country staring at 1,000 restrictions and even less money in my pocket. I felt the depression, the isolation, and the weight of a dream that felt delusional to everyone around me. There was literally no one around me that do trading for a living. But I realized that those restrictions weren't my cage. They were my training ground. They forced me to become more disciplined, more data driven, and more resilient than the person living in the country where there is less restrictions. The 100K plus payout I made with prop firm isn't just a number in a bank account. It's the physical proof that when you master your psychology, the world opens up to you. It's proof that you don't need a better market, you need a better market. If you're struggling right now, stop looking at the candles, that look in the person in the mirror. Do the 1090 audit, collect your 100 trades, commit to the A+ setups only. Stop trying to make money and start trying to make sense of your own behavior. Freedom isn't being a slave to the dollar sign. It's having a discipline to be a slave to your process. I've shown you the path to cross that 6-figure mark. Now it's your turn to walk it. If this video helped you change your mindset in trading, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, join the community, and let's resonate 2026 together. I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.